Hey guys, fantasy drafts are almost here. When it comes to picking wide receivers, of course, a lot of things are at play. You want the fast guys who can go deep. You want the tall guys who can catch it in the back of the end zone. You want to find the high volume guys, the ones who'll be playing in great offenses. All sounds pretty good to me. There's one quality that might be better than all the others, the kind of receiver who'll excel in fantasy even when everything else around them goes bad, and that is the route runners. It's not just quickness, it's not just speed, it's not just football acumen. It's all those things. So I'm going to count them down. Here are the 5 best route runners in the NFL heading into 2019. Number 5 on my list is Odell Beckham. There's so much to like about his speed, his ridiculous hands, but let's not lose sight of how he gets open. He's creative, and among NFL defenses, he generates almost as much fear as any wideout in the league. And that includes Jalen Ramsey, who's opposite Beckham here on the left side, but he's got zone help to the inside, and Beckham and Eli Manning probably both see this, which means Ramsey probably isn't going to let himself get beaten deep. So the route adjust here is to turn it into a stop. And Beckham sees Ramsey turn to run with him to keep up with that all-world speed, and there's going to be a linebacker standing there on the inside, so this turns into a stop or a hook. And Jalen Ramsey, great corner. Look at the distance Beckham shakes him by. That is a stop on a dime and then come back. That is great stuff. On this one, Beckham is out of the slot, and you don't see this a lot. Instead of making your cut in front of the guy across his face, how about you just so slippery you actually go behind him, around him, before he can turn around and cut on the backside of him? That's just stupid quickness to literally slither around a guy who doesn't seem to have a lot of other responsibilities on this play. Number 29 there, peeks into the backfield a little bit, and look at how much separation Beckham gets immediately exploding out of that cut. And this one, also against the Panthers, he's facing zone here, so a little less easy to make a wow move because there's going to be cushion, right? But for ODB, it's not a problem. He approaches number 24 there, James Bradbury, and exactly the right moment, he gives that jab step that makes it look like, oh yeah, I'm going to the corner. And you can see Bradbury realize it and kind of stick his arm out and begin to turn to the outside, and that little shake, that little hesitation is all Beckham needs. He's sold the corner. He's going to the post. Touchdown. Pretty fair ball skills as well. Quick break to thank BetDSI for sponsoring. We wouldn't be able to do it without them, and we hope when you're looking for an online sportsbook, you'll consider BetDSI. I've had an account there for 4+ years. It works great. It's a perfect time to start. Get in those NFL futures bets while you still can. How about regular season win totals? We're reviewing a New England Patriot right now, and their over-under total on BetDSI is 11.5. That's really high, highest in the league, but of course, before last year, they'd had 8 straight years of 12 wins or more. I think I still might go over, but what do you think? Click on over to betdsi.com and use one of our 2 promo codes. If you're a frequent and experienced bettor, use Harris100 and they'll match 100% of your deposit. If you're looking to make a couple or a few plays and cash out, use Harris5. They'll match 5% with no extra volume requirements to cash out. Either way, we hope you'll give them a look. It's fun. betdsi.com. Okay, back into the list. My number 4 best route runner in the league right now, Mr. Polarizing, I guess Mr. Polar Feet, Antonio Brown. Like Odell Beckham, Brown probably doesn't have to be a ridiculous route runner because everything else in his game is so good, but he's a ridiculous route runner anyway. In this video, I'm showing you a lot of shake and bake, hard cuts, and Brown certainly does that. I'll show you in a second, but he's also just really smart. This one, watch him understand. Number 23 there, Robert Alford, is trying to be physical with him. And watch Antonio Brown smack away Alford's attempted bump on the dead run and still accelerate up through this go route. This is not a crazy hard cut. That's instead what gets him separation here, and that's all about practice and technique, long touchdown. Against the Ravens, here's the cut. Here's the prototypical arrow route out of the slot left. Something all these guys have in common. The footwork is just so purposeful. There's not a random step taken. And You're looking at the man covering you, and you're picking exactly the right body position he's in for the moment to dig that foot in and somehow stop your momentum. My knees would explode while you're on the dead run, and obviously on this play, get pretty darn open. And of course, there are different kinds of salesmanship as a receiver. This is going to wind up being a curl and go in effect, but we should notice. So when Brown stops his route on the curl, Roethlisberger isn't even looking at him. This is not a play designed to go to Antonio Brown. But what the heck, he says. I can sell that it's a stop route, and then I can take off and see what happens. And this is just savvy route running. This is just intelligence, knowing how to play to get the deep safety to bite, and what happens is a long touchdown. Number 3 on my list is Amari Cooper, who, let's be honest, has been rather mercurial in his time in the NFL. But if you listened to me all the way back in his rookie year, the one thing Cooper came into the NFL knowing how to do was get open, at least when he's motivated to. In this first one, Cooper sets up a slant with incredible precision against Malcolm Butler of the Titans. No footwork, no single footstep is wasted. First you get the single step to the inside, followed by the burst that looks like it's going to the outside, which is what sells Butler, that Cooper is going to try and run around him. Butler turns to run with him, and Cooper plants hard and cuts inside for the slant, and look at the separation he gets on that route. This one came in September when he was still with the Raiders. Cooper is isolated on the left side against Terrence Mitchell. Again, nothing wasted. He sets up the deep route, he cuts hard and plants to push off to get the slant open. And this is physical coverage. There's some grabbing there at the top of the route, but Cooper is just explosive, being able to push and get free on the slant. And here's a great one. Here he's split wide left. Quentin Dunbar is on him. Watch the crazy maneuverings that Cooper puts Quentin Dunbar through. First, between that first step there, that he might go inside, right? He gets Dunbar a little bit off balance. Then there's burst up the sideline, makes Dunbar thinks, he's going to get behind me. I better start sprinting. And then the cut to turn it into a cross. And now really, because Quentin Dunbar's so off balance, he's falling down. And Amari Cooper is into the clear, and he's gone. 40-yard touchdown. My number 2 route runner is Stefon Diggs himself. We need to finally get the fully healthy season from Diggs for fantasy purposes, because this kid is an absolute freak of quickness and precision and burst out of breaks. We'll start it out with Diggs against Richard Sherman, man-on-man, split right. This will wind up being sort of like a fake out and up, and I love, as we watch, how Diggs isn't really trying to give Sherman a super convincing out. He doesn't want Sherman to bite on the out, because eventually it'll be a comeback route. So he sets up Sherman with sort of a half-hearted out. He sells the up part of it much harder and gets Sherman to turn around, and then boom, stop on a dime, forget about it. Good throw by Kirk Cousins, good pressure throw by Cousins, but Diggs is open by 5 yards. Against the Saints, Diggs is at the far left of the formation, and what he knows here is that he's got to get to an out route and give Cousins enough room to make a throw. So he's got to sell something else at the top of the route and then break sharply once he gets there. He goes so far as to look up on this route as though it's a fade route, and then just throws his feet and plants to get to the out, and again, your and my legs would explode, and it works. P.J. Williams is lost. I don't know. He thinks it's a fade, I guess, and Diggs is open, and it's a touchdown. How about you need a 2-point conversion to send a game against the Packers to overtime? You need one play that you can trust from the 2-yard line. Let's line up trips right and Diggs by himself left, and that way we know we'll get him one-on-one, and the Vikings think they'll win that every time because they know what Diggs can do, and here he just torments Tremont Williams, looking like he's going to the post and using incredible push-off to get to the fade to get open by 3 yards for the tying score. But the number 1 route runner in the NFL continues to be Keenan Allen, and what's most remarkable about this is that Allen just really isn't anything close to being an elite athlete. He would lose a foot race against every cornerback in the entire NFL, but they just can't stay with him when he's running routes. He's built himself an amazing career based almost entirely on route running. I could show you a Keenan Allen play from every game last year, and you'd find something to go wow about. This one is an arrow route against Joe Hayden of the Steelers. Pretty fair corner. We saw this from Antonio Brown earlier. And what Keenan Allen does here is make it look like a crosser. It just stops. I mean, it is an arrow route, but I mean, he could really just stop and he'd already be vastly open. By the time he turns it back, I mean, how much separation does he get there? Maybe 5 yards of separation in probably about 2 seconds of actual human clock time. This one against the Titans, he's slot left. He's got a corner, Adoree Jackson, on him. Knowing it can be trouble, he's not really even trying to bump Keenan Allen, is Jackson, because if Keenan Allen has a two-way go on you out of the slot and you miss him, it's real trouble. And Allen really purposefully makes that hard step to the outside, and it just flings Jackson off balance, right? Within 1 yard of the line of scrimmage, Allen has 2 or 3 yards of separation, which is just crazy, and of course catches the easy one right down the seam. This one's not fair. Number 22 for the Raiders here, poor Rashaan Melvin, kind of a journeyman, playing matchup zone. He's got a deep safety in the center of the field, so he knows this dang play can't be a post, or if it is, it's going to be double coverage. And yet somehow Keenan Allen, with his body, with his footwork, whatever, sells the post so hard that Rashaan Melvin is like, dang, and he starts to run. He turns, right? And yeah, it's all a setup, and Allen cuts out. He's open by a country mile. That happens a lot. Okay, before I go, I wanted to mention, why am I so bullish on Dante Pettis of the 49ers? No matter what Kyle Shanahan says about how maybe Pettis isn't ready to start, oh, buddy, it's because he may just be Keenan Allen eventually. It's early. Pettis has 27 career NFL catches. I can't officially put him on this list yet. It's just not enough work. But rookies are not supposed to come into the league doing this stuff that we've just been showing you. Pettis is as precise and explosive out of cuts as you could possibly want. He's going to be a really good player. And that's it. Thank you very much for watching the channel. Get that Harris Football Almanac for film grades on every player you need to know for 2019, and go watch some film. Thanks so much for watching. Please, please, please smash that like button, write a comment, tell us who else you'd like to see us review film on, and of course, best of all, please subscribe to our channel and then click that little bell above the subscribe button, and you'll be notified whenever we post a new video.